All right, gentlemen, let's move on very quickly. And let me come back to Lagos before I bring in Dumnodi Okonta and bring Tolu to this one and talk about the sports forum. The Lagos State government yesterday organized a one-day sports forum in Lagos. And the sports forum really is to look at school sports, the way forward for Nigeria. The director of grassroots sports at the National Sports Commission, Alassane Yakmut, and ex-Nigerian international Segun Adegwami both spoke extensively at this one-day sports forum in Lagos, and they said poor performances recorded by the country's athletes in international competitions can change if sports are given the needed attention right from schools. Over 600 game masters from public and private schools in Lagos, as well as chairmen and technical directors of sports associations in Lagos, were at the forum aimed at fast-tracking sports development at the grassroots. So we'll take a listen now to Alassane Yakmut, Segun Adegwami, and of course to Babatunde Williams, technical chairman of Lagos State School Sports. Listen to what they have to say about school sports and the plan of the Lagos State government, and then we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
The program of Western education is talking about 1842. From 1842 to 2014 is 172 years. And each school sports is 172 years. Why are we still running bare feet in our school sports festival? Why are the sports facilities in our schools depreciated? Why is it that the emphasis is school sports rather than sports in schools? What of the funding? What of the availability of equipment? Are you aware that there are schools that cannot afford one single football? Are you aware that there are schools that, because of expansion, some of the sports infrastructure have been converted into classrooms?
This is just another medium to remind us all that, look, we truly need to look at our sports in schools, particularly secondary schools. Those are the years that are critical in the formation of sportsmen. If we provide the environment, we provide some of the facilities, we create some of the events that would expose all of these boys, that we make them to participate in physical activity generally within the schools, then we are going to have not just a healthy population, but we're going to have the opportunity to select the best amongst them who would eventually one day go and represent our country, who would also have the opportunity to join the global sports industry that is growing in leaps and bounds, one of the fastest growing in the world. So that's another opportunity for our students. You know, so all of those things, there are too many benefits that come from it. We just sing like canaries, and at the end of the day, nothing happens. So it is frustrating.
Going back. All right, so that's Chief Segun Adegwami, of course, and Alassane Yakmut, grassroots director in the National Sports Commission, speaking about the need for us to go back to the schools. But tomorrow, we will be bringing you the reaction of Dr. Williams, that's Babatunde Williams, the director of school sports in Lagos. We'll be bringing you his reaction and the preparations of Lagos for the Bile Games. We'll leave that till tomorrow because we're really, really pressed for time. Well, gentlemen, Dumnodi, let's move now quickly and talk about domestic football. Yesterday, we spoke about our clubs on the continent, the deadline by the NFF and the CAF. What was the updates? I know you've been trying to find out a few things. Are we responding? Are we meeting up the deadlines? What is the situation?
Well, so far, I don't know how the clubs have really gotten to the NFF. We've not gotten an official statement from the NFF. But maybe probably by 4 o'clock, because close of work is 4 o'clock. I don't know whether I see how the deadline for 12 midnight. But the club has to do some, because the NFF is going to leave them to themselves when the sanctions or disqualification or expulsion from CAF comes. The NFF is not going to stand and intervene on the behalf. So it is the responsibility of the club to do what is needed. But well, some of the clubs have sent their list first, but I don't know whether that list itself is comprehensive enough, because 23-man list, I don't know whether there will be an adjustment to that.
If you qualify beyond a certain stage, you are allowed to register more players.
Yes. Yeah. So,
but the initial 23
I think what
can take you. I mean, so far, and then you can go on and register some more.
This is going to be a learning curve for our clubs. If the league does not start on time, try to prepare.
You start your own preparations.
Because,
a lot of the private clubs.
In Kenya, they ended their league 2 weeks before league started because they knew this was going to come up so quickly. Some of the teams who are participating on the continent have gone to camping. They know what's at stake. So, so let's see what happens, because from next week Monday, the draws will be made. I don't know whether Nigerian clubs are going to be involved in the draws. If we are not involved in the draw, then
we will be involved in the draw. Even if we are drawn by, we will still know who we will meet from the preliminary rounds. Yeah. All right, so the draws will be made and Nigerian teams will be in the draw if they meet the deadline set for them. But I think we will keep our eyes on it and we'll keep updating you about all of that. Dubnodio Konta caught up with the chairman of the League Management Company, Ondo Karabo, at an event, the League Bloggers Awards night in Lagos, and it took him up on a whole lot of issues. Ondo Karabo spoke on the new football season, and he also spoke about community ownership of clubs as being the future of club football, not just in Nigeria, in Africa. Let's take a listen to Ondo Karabo. We'll come back to wrap up sports tonight in a jiffy.
Football is beyond just kicking the ball. It is actually big business. Every year, for more than 20 years now, we just rush in and rush out of seasons without giving time to reflect or try to improve on what we've done. Which is one reason why our league looks like a stunted fellow in the class of giants. We intend to change that. We're working very hard to change that. But we would not delay for any reason beyond what is reasonable. The new season will start by March 7th. There are many reasons to do that. We need to replenish the body. The footballers amongst us here would confirm that they need some rest. They need some rest, they need to mix with their friends. We'll start March 7th, they would have rested then. But then it will give us enough time to deal with some of the problems of last season. One of the most embarrassing being the welfare of the players themselves. You remember how we struggled to make sure there were provisions that make regular payment of salaries, decent salaries, assured. But that didn't quite work out. We think we need time to push for that to be adopted. More than anything else, we are giving the clubs time to clear up their backlog. And we know that before elections, there are preparations. Oftentimes, electoral campaigns take place in our football arenas. We do not want to begin to struggle for space and time with politicians. So we'll wait up for elections to clear up before we get on to the pitch again. So the club managers have time to clear up their old debt, but unless they do that, they won't play. Then we'll have time to give the politicians to settle down in the business of governance so they can provide money. But more importantly, we give time for our message of having a sustainable financing system. Some of you may have noticed that we've been preaching about community ownership. In the last 2 years, we have done some regulations allowing for 50% ownership for non-governmental bodies or individuals of the clubs that they have right now. Unfortunately, it appears there hasn't been enough enthusiasm. I wish we could put our money where our mouth is.
All right, so that's the chairman, League Management Company, making a few statements there. I've picked out a few ones. I'm going to allow you to comment on it as we wrap up the show tonight. March 7, 2015. That's the new season. March 7, 2015. Bearing any adjustments.
I hope the clubs are
March 7, 2015.
And I hope the club knows what to do.
And he spoke about community ownership as well.
Well, that's the way it should be, because we are seeing that even in Germany, just as obtainable in the German Bundesliga, so you see that across board, you see the clubs are self-sufficient.
But we have some private owners in England.
But no,
Abramovich, yeah.
It's a different move.
But the mode that they want is community ownership. It's more sustainable.
It's not dependent on one person.
We should also look at it in a different way. The community ownership is going on a decline in Germany. It has gone on a decline in Spain for some years now, and it has taken board ownership and some kind of different kind of ownership to sustain clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Athletic Bilbao, and Real Sociedad. So if we are taking on a committee ownership that is dying in other bigger European leagues,
we have to look at our
future.
No, there's
in Nigeria,
there's a peculiarity in everything you do.
The Nigerian
peculiarity.
adaptation to the Nigerian.
I think the community thing had been the bedrock in previous years, where people go out en masse to support the club and they enjoy it and all that. But lately, we discovered that even people of the community do not really.
They have other
things
liking.
Of course. What is
Anyway,
the future of this thing?
Well, Dumnodi, let me allow you to wrap up because our time is up on this one. These are the issues. Another issue that I touched on is the issue of the welfare of the player. It was embarrassing last season. Players going to the government house, cap in hand all the time. That must be addressed before the league season kicks off March 7, 2015.
Next season. Because
the deadline of CAF.
We raised a few issues that has to do with the plunge in oil prices. That of course, finance is going to be tough, and football on the pecking order of government priorities. You know,
election next year.
You're going to suffer for it. Election next year. And a lot of factors. I think the club managers will have to sit up. That if there's a shortfall in budget in government funding, you just have to look for ways to augment this shortfall. You have to, unless you put yourself in a tight corner again. We are back to where we were last season.
All right, I think that's the much we'll be able to take because our time is really fast spent. But let me end with this one. Enebele Kenneth, I must say happy birthday to you. You sent us a tweet and you said we should shift our attention to the under-20, the under-23, and the under-17. That is where we will find joy in 2015. All right? I think that's the only thing I'll be able to take because our time is up. And I must say a very big thank you to you for watching. Thank you to you, Tolu, as well. Yemi Adebayo was here much earlier. And, of course, Dumnodi Okonta. And for those who have worked behind the scene in putting all of this package together. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.